Hello everyone, welcome back, and we're going to be actually doing an Arabic bread today. Some may call it a pita bread, and there's a lot of variations of this kind of bread. I'm going to do only one variation today. So very simple ingredients. We have 1 kilogram of flour. An all-purpose flour will work fine. You can use bread flour if you want, and that will impact the amount of water that you use. We're going to have 1 heaping tablespoon of dry yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of salt. So the oil I will use at the end, just to put over the actual dough. We're gonna use 2 cups of water, maybe a little bit more, and this is all gonna be dependent on the flour that you have. And we're gonna add the water slowly into this until we get to the consistency that I'll show you. All right, so let's put in our dry ingredients first. So we're gonna put in our kilo of flour, our yeast, sugar, and our salt. Let's mix all those dry ingredients together. As I said, let's put this in slowly. So I'll put in about a cup first. Make sure that you use warm water. If you don't use warm water, your yeast will not allow the bread dough to rise the right way. Baking is a true art of cooking, because what it does is it's not a lot of ingredients, but it's a lot of technique. Okay, so I've been kneading now for about close to 8-9 minutes. Depends on the flour and the consistency you want to get to. Let's get that in there. All right, is basically of this nature. You see, comes back. That's what you want to get to. Now we're gonna let this rest. What I like to do, put a little bit of olive oil. This is not completely necessary, it's optional. All right, in there. And now we're gonna cover this dough up, right, for about 45 minutes to an hour. Keep it in a nice warm place so it rises the right way. And then we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how we're going to get the pita ready to go on the stove. Okay, so we've let our dough rest for about an hour and allowed the yeast to do what it needs to do to get the dough to rise. And you can see, you press it in, it's exactly what you should be getting at this stage. Now what we want to do, take this out and make it into small little balls. Very bit. So I put it into my palm. That's the size that you want out of this. Get a small tray, whatever you have in the kitchen. Do this. Put some flour on it. That's exactly what we're gonna do for the rest of this dough. And I would suggest as you do this, cover it up piece by piece so it doesn't dry out on you. You should get about 14 pieces. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna allow these to rest, cover them up so they don't dry up for a good 5 minutes, and then we'll come back to them. So take a little bit of flour this up so it doesn't stick on you. And we're going to stretch this. Okay, so your dough is gonna be what it is, but it's, you see how stretchy and nice dough it is. So you can use your hand, get it in there once you've done that. Make sure that it's got enough flour on it, doesn't dry out. Put it along with your others. Close that up. Okay, so I've stretched all my bread into as much of a circular as I can get. You need to have it covered for about 10 minutes before we start doing this. This is a stovetop method of making Arabic bread. It's not going to go in the oven, so it's not big. So you could use a pan for this. What I would do is just make sure that it's hot enough. It's not too hot, you don't want to burn it too much. Let's get that on there.
Now what you want to do is wait for a few bubbles to start to form on the top of this bread. The bubbles start to show, turn it over. Then give it another turn, and you should start soon to see the bread start to expand the air inside. As it stands, the air expands. You want to maybe help it out a little bit, just with your spatula. Just push a little bit in, the air that's in there. Don't put too much pressure on this, otherwise you may break the bread apart. And there you have it. Now our bread is fully expanded. Give that a nice turn. You see how beautifully evenly cooked it's cooked on there. Help it along to do the sides. You can do that. And that's your Arabic bread. Okay, so this is what you should end up with, a beautiful bread that you're able to actually break right from the middle. And you just gotta make sure your technique is right over the stove. Don't wait too long on the first side when you put it down. Otherwise, when you turn it over, it won't expand. Enjoy.